Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back for another appearance on the podcast today, James Kobielus. He is the Senior Research Director at TDWI for Data Management. And today we're going to take a step back. I know in previous episodes, we've talked a lot about artificial intelligence, generative AI, including large language models on this podcast before, but I think it's also nice for us to do a little bit of level setting for everyone out there that needs to kind of recap what it is, what actually AI is, and then we actually might take a little step further into what we think it might become in the coming years here over the course of the conversation today. So that's going to be our topic. But before we jump into the questions, thanks for joining, Jim, as always. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Andrew.
Great. I know we're going to be talking about this in coordination with an upcoming event that we have, AI Literacy for Business Professionals, taking place in San Diego in August. I'll send the link out in the description of this episode for folks that are interested in finding out more information. But Jim, let me start right off with a very, very basic introductory question here, that which may be a can of worms in a sense. But what exactly is AI for us? Can you define it and then talk a little bit about where, when, and how it became this this thing that's in our lives every day now?
Yeah, what is AI? I mean, this has been the mania now in the world for quite some time. But also AI is a well-established discipline or set of disciplines under sort of a broad, vague, and amorphous definition or scope, going back longer than I've been alive, and I'm as old as the hills. So really, I've been covering AI as both an industry analyst and also an industry marketing professional for a long time as a consultant. So this is James Kobielus, the research director at TDWI's take on all of this right now. So really, AI, what is it? Well, it's an evolving set of paradigms and practices. It never holds still. It's a set of paradigms and practices that involve really building computerized systems that do something highly cool and sophisticated. What they do is that they automate, they augment, and they accelerate intelligent processes. In other words, human cognitive processes, thinking, reasoning, but also language, the ability to understand it and produce it, but also the ability of human beings and our entire sensory apparatus to perceive the world around us through vision, audio, etc., but also to feel, intuit, and make sense of sentiment and emotion so we can connect with each other. So in many ways, AI is about automating a lot of really anthropomorphic things that humans do extremely well, that in many ways define what it means to be a Homo sapiens. Okay, at the highest level. So it automates, augments, and accelerates these things using computers of various sorts, ranging from huge supercomputers, cloud, servers, but also all the way down to your mobile phone and your laptop and your edge devices and everything else that is now being equipped with, chips to process AI and all of its manifest glory. So what is AI? Well, it's all that, but AI is really fundamentally, it's all about delivering highly contextual and predictive intelligence into everything, into business processes and how they execute, into decision support applications to help you derive insights to do your job better or live your life better, but also driving predictive intelligence into things like cybersecurity controls on your firewall or on your enterprise server, be able to predict and diffuse and interdict threats and intrusions and incursions that can, bring down your computer, can introduce malware. There's a lot of use cases for AI, and I'll get to those in a moment. What we've seen in the last few years is that there's a new paradigm that's been around for a while in various ways related to AI's applications. And I like to break out the two hemispheres of AI applications or use cases into two broad things. There's predictive AI and there's generative AI. There's the buzzword I just threw in there. Predictive AI is everything I just laid out. It's AI's ability. When I say AI's ability, machine learning and advanced analytics and all the other large language models, you name it, to find deep statistical patterns in complex data. And then to leverage those patterns to do a lot of different things, make predictions, make forecasts, tell us how the future might unfurl under various circumstances. That's been the core of AI forever and ever, and it remains the core of AI. But generative AI is AI's ability to, based on those statistical patterns that have been found through machine learning and the like, to generate new data that's consistent with those patterns, generate new textual documents that are consistent with how documents of particular types have that your AI has been trained on, the patterns that they've seen in those kinds of documents, so that by submitting a prompt like write me a term paper on Charlemagne, it can generate for you, generative AI tools, a credible looking document on Charlemagne or whatever it is you're trying to do. That's
Hmm.
generative AI. So predictive versus generative. And one last definitional scoping statement before we roll to the next. There's been various alternate names for AI over the years. One of the core names that got sort of some traction in the last decade is cognitive computing.
Hmm.
That's the core of AI's ability to handle critical, logical, attentive reasoning modes of thought, expert systems, and so forth. A use case that's been around for a long time. Do cognitive computing. That's AI using machine learning. There's affective computing. Affect means emotions and sentiments. AI's ability to infer the emotional signals in social media posts, in how your customers are interacting with you through the call center, through voice, but also through clicks and so forth. There's sensory computing, which is AI's ability to process sensory ambient information coming in from cameras and microphones and chemical sensors and so forth. And there's something and only but I think it's a good term, called volitional computing. Volition is will or action. Basically, AI's ability to translate cognition, affect, and sensory impressions into actions that drive intelligent robotics, autonomous vehicles, drones, real hard stuff in the world. So all of that is AI, and I'll leave it at that.
It's amazing. The I think the depth and scope of AI is tremendous, especially with someone like yourself that can explain how long it's been around. Truthfully, it's not this brand new thing as we all might assume that it is. So, Jim, you covered all those different various areas within the scope of AI, but specific to like business use, can you break
Yeah.
down what are today's core AI applications for business?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I'll just quickly summarize something that was there from the start of the development of AI: natural language processing.
Hmm.
And Alan Turing, one of the inventors of AI from long back in the 1940s and 50s, a mathematician. His so-called imitation game is the ability of a machine to fool human beings into thinking that the machine is intelligent based on the machine's ability to produce credible language, text, or whatever it might be in the context of a conversation. So it's been natural language understanding, natural language processing from the very beginning of the conception of AI as a discipline. Cut ahead to the year 2024 and really cut ahead the last 70 years or more of AI. Natural language processing has been the core application of AI in everything. And it comes to the fore now through things like ChatGPT. Submit a textual prompt and boom, it submits you a textual or an image result based on the text that you're inputting. That's natural language processing, at least in terms of interpreting your prompt, if the prompt is text. Chatbots. Fundamentally, the imitation game is really about a chatbot. And chatbots, they're able to understand human speech or text or all that and produce language in response, or produce images or whatever it is in response, are a core application of AI. They're a core application clearly of generative AI, ChatGPT. And chatbots are essentially the foundational piece of this new revolution in terms of use cases of AI. Digital assistants, virtual assistants, co-pilots, these are all essentially chatbots that are, as it were, tricked up to help you do practical things. They make recommendations to you based on the context of maybe your location or the time of day or the things that you've said recently or in your profile. But also co-pilots, a term that's come into currency in the last few years, to help you do practical things in the context of particular, say, enterprise applications like a financial analysis application or a human resources management application that do help you to do task specific and appropriate things to be more productive in your job. Once again, it's through natural language back and forth with computers, either on your phone or in the cloud or wherever. But natural language processing is all over AI. It has been forever in terms of things like autocorrect and autocomplete that we take for granted in our office applications. That's AI. There's machine learning under the covers that's doing that. Machine learning is the core of AI. But also things like, search engines now are entirely powered by AI for question answering. I was with a big, and I won't name them, vendor that in the past decade popularized its own question answering AI thing that they had on game shows and things like that. And it's powerful what AI can do to make search engines way more powerful, way more contextual, way more personalized, useful to human beings. Natural language processing in all its glory. But email and spam filtering leverages AI heavily, and it's everywhere in our email experience. Content generation, generally, that's what ChatGPT and every other large language model is all about. To do amazing things at the literal push of a button, or at least the submitting of a prompt. And then really automated text classification and so forth and so on. These actually are well-established text analytics applications, natural language processing, and they have been driving the AI into everybody's lives for many years, and now they become far more visible. So natural language processing. But now that I've laid that out, customer engagement in all of its manifestations now is powered by AI. Contextual recommendations in your shopping experience online, that's AI behind the scenes. One-to-one personalization of your experience on any cloud application, that's AI. But also things like marketing professionals, their applications that are churning through big data, customer data, and helping them do things like, look for customer churn and factors that drive it so they can reduce and mitigate, keep the customers loyal. That's AI. Upsell and cross-sell analysis, marketing attribution analysis, marketing campaign analytics, and so forth. All of these core marketing applications are powered by AI of various sorts. Next best offers that are provided to you in an automated fashion in your e-commerce experience, on your mobile experience, or by driving the scripts that call center agents use when they're speaking to you over the phone or whatever. That's AI under the covers. So AI is driving all manner of customer engagement applications and making those applications, whether it be sales, marketing, customer, whatever, more efficient, more personalized, more able to target what you specifically as a user or a customer are trying to do and help you be more effective, but also helping companies be more effective in serving you. Conversational agents inside of all applications now, the customer, engagement cycle. AI is there. AI is the quote unquote secret sauce that makes all these effective. And just a few other things like core application, video and imaging for AI, face recognition, object recognition, activity detection, image generation, image tagging, remote sensing. All of these applications are powered by AI. AI, is able to recognize things really fast, quite often highly minute things like in terms of ambient surveillance of industrial supply chains and whatever. It's computer vision. Computer vision is a huge market, and computer vision at its very heart is cameras, etc., and AI to find visual patterns, not just in still images, but in videos and so forth. back office operations of all sorts now in the business world have embedded AI to do like predictive maintenance, inventory optimization, fraud detection, of course, cybersecurity, intrusion detection and response, business process automation, you name it, AI in the form of machine learning or something that's related to that called deep learning, but also increasingly large language models are everywhere, increasingly in back office operations. And of course, like I said earlier, there's things like robotics. Intelligent robotics is not possible without AI. So the new robotics revolution, and it really is all about AI inside of physical devices that are being placed into everything we do, both in the industrial and the business world, into our real lives, like smart homes and things.
Hmm.
Um, and expert, okay, then one other thing is expert advisory systems. Expert systems have been actually in many ways one of the oldest applications under the heading of AI. They've been around since the early 60s to provide experts like doctors or lawyers or engineers with decision support applications that are highly tuned to the things that these people do, these highly complex technical things that they do to provide. Originally, it was like rule-based AI where you had to program in fixed rules of a very complex nature into an application, an AI application in a language like Lisp or Smalltalk, whatever. And then the expert system would, then provide highly detailed and useful advice to people trying to do, like I said, highly specialized, high skilled things, but to do them better or to do them in a more repeatable way. So expert systems haven't gone away. In many ways, they're the heart of like modern medicine. It's like it's these things that doctors and nurses and others are trying to do are not just complex and highly they have a high impact on people's lives and health, but this knowledge is so complex that no one human being increasingly can hold all this in their head. You need automated systems to provide cognitive support for highly specialized and high skilled endeavors. So there's that. Next question.
Excellent, excellent answer there, Jim. I know you covered so many things there. I'm
Mhm.
curious though, because there is so many facets in different areas that businesses can employ these types of applications within any industry. Is there like a baseline level of AI literacy that today's organizations need to be effective? And I mean that like from a personal standpoint, of course, right? Like
Yeah.
business, business practitioners all the way up to the top of the C-suite. I'm sure there's got to be a baseline understanding there, right?
I think that's an open issue. What is the baseline level of AI literacy that everybody needs? Well, if not everybody in the wide world, everybody in the business world. And then you sort of have to ask, oh, what is your company trying to need to do with AI? Or what do you specifically personally need to do in your job with AI? And how knowledgeable must you be from the start, or through some training to get to that point? Let me make just a blanket statement. Everybody in the business world should have a rudimentary AI literacy.
Hmm.
Not that underlying technologies, I don't think people need to be machine learning experts to be knowledgeable on the things about AI that matter. But it's important to go back to sort of like the square one of my discussion today, which is that it'll be in the course that we're presenting in San Diego. And AI really fundamentally is about augmenting human faculties. And its job is not to replace you,
Hmm.
though much of the smokescreen in the world is that people are saying, well, AI is going to throw me out of a job. No, really, AI is augmenting your capabilities, enabling you to do more and be more effective. And keep that in mind. What do you need to know about AI that can help you be more effective in your current job? Try not to be spooked about all these scary stories about AI throwing you out of a job potentially. I think that stuff is seriously over the top. It's too much. What you need, really, you need to understand the AI tools available to you. when I say AI tools, not so much the AI that's embedded in your back office systems, the AI tools that are embedded in your, say, Microsoft Office or the Google, productivity suite, or whatever it is that you use. What's available now in terms of capabilities, going beyond things like autocorrect, like embedded recommendations on how to write particular types of documents. You need to understand the AI capabilities that are already there and present for you in the tools that you use every day on your job. You also need to understand the new capabilities coming onto the market, such as chatbots that have Chat GPT or Google Gemini or any of the other zillions of large language models under the cover. How can they help you in your job? Don't just go and adopt Chat GPT because you heard that everybody's doing it. Now, figure out what you need it for, or if you need it first, and then adopt it at a rate and for the uses that you specifically need. For example, I'm an industry analyst in high tech. Like everybody else in the world who does my kind of job, you need tools to help you search the literature more rapidly. You need tools to help you summarize what's being said about various topics more effectively. You need tools to help you build drafts of research documents and so forth more rapidly, or make them look better, or whatever it might be. Figure out what it is you're trying to do. Figure out what the AI tools enable you to, AI infused tools enable you to do more effectively, that you, through your own manual efforts, it would take you much longer and you wouldn't be able to do it as well. Figure out how they can help you, and then adopt them, try them out. Don't necessarily adopt them just individually. Your teams need to, your organizations should be standardizing on a core set of AI powered tools to help you as human beings with different jobs to work together more effectively. So look at suites of AI infused tools that can help your organizations to be more effective. And then what you need to do as these tools prove themselves out in your environments, then evangelize them to others in your organization, to let them know, here's how I've benefited, here's how we've benefited. You might as well. Hey, tell us what you've been learning or doing with AI that we can benefit from. Really, centers of excellence need to be built up in organizations to help you collectively build your own, your collective literacy in,
Mhm.
maybe literacy is not the right term, a familiarity with and adoption of tools to help you be more effective. So really the core literacy is simply be aware of the things that AI can do that can help you now or in the future. Be aware of how the baseline for productivity in your kind of job or in your industry is shifting over time as AI comes into the core tool set of your competitors or your peers. That's a level of literacy or awareness you can't afford to slack off on. Because ultimately, if you don't get up to speed on AI infused tooling, that's the baseline for productivity in your chosen line of work, before long, you're not going to be employable, or you're not going to be useful in your current job. So, think about those things. What should AI literacy include? Fundamental concepts of AI, like some of the upfront stuff I've discussed today. And if you want to reference James Kobielus and TDWI and all that, all power to you. Awareness of how AI impacts productivity, innovation, and competitive differentiation, visibility to how it can be applied within your own job team, et cetera. Ability to interpret AI-driven insights and make informed decisions based on data. That's data literacy generally, and recognize that AI increasingly is inside your business intelligence tools, automating the distillation of those insights. So, and then ability to use these tools to augment the development of content, et cetera. But also, here's something very important that literacy should include. As AI empowers you to do cool things and more things, better things, you need to also become more literate on the best practices for using AI responsibly, so that you don't invade people's privacy by, say, loading personally identifiable information into a data store that's used to train, say, a large language model. So you don't do things like use AI that's based on biased data, that's biased against particular socio-economic or racial groups. So practice responsible AI in the area of making sure that your AI whatever you build or whatever your company deploys behaves ethically, provides transparent access to the underlying data and models and so forth that are used to drive these automated inferences that AI does so well. So there's all the responsibility related to AI's impacts on the real world and AI's potential to do harm as
Mhm.
well as good.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from that is there should be a level of exploration, whether that's on the personal level, as just you being doing this like on your own time, get to be familiar with what is available to you, do some research on your own, but also top down, like organizations really need to be collectively thinking about how they can take on one of these applications to help their entire workforce. I'm
Right.
also thinking too, Jim, there's a chance that just data literacy needs to be permeated throughout the actual organization by using an AI version of a chatbot to create such a presentation or a quiz or exam or something like that to, provide that baseline level before diving headfirst into the deep end, if you will. So,
Right.
Jim, I'm curious about the final question for the day is let's look ahead to the future.
Mm.
So many things have happened very, very quickly in the space in the last couple years here. I'm assuming that rapid change is going to continue in the next months and years ahead. Is there a couple things that you are looking out for in the future as far as AI in the business world?
Yeah, I'm going to sum up today's podcast by saying there's really two main trends, imperatives that listeners should be aware of regarding AI and the future, especially in the business world. AI is empowering you to do more things on a self-service basis in really everything you do. But AI also comes with, as I indicated, great responsibility. You need to get more aware and practice responsible governance and usage and really control of AI in the business world and also in our personal lives. Empowerment, self-service AI everywhere, going forward. I'm not going to deepen on the technological plumbing here. That's evolving so rapidly on every front that it spins my head too, dear audience. It's enough for me to just get through the day without, I have to read, several dozen research papers on a given day to figure out what's going on. But really what it's all coming down to is that where this is all heading is that AI's advances are delivering self-service, task-oriented, real-time contextual insights to everybody within all applications 24/7. This is the trend, so it's like empowerment. AI empowers people. Responsibility, though, AI is, very much the focus now of so much many new laws and regulations, and so much concern, much of it quite justified, that AI can be used for my nasty people for nasty purposes, for malware, and for computer security intrusions. But also there are things like smart weapons and so forth we're all aware of that are powered by AI. There needs to be a degree of human responsibility for the consequences of AI to prevent AI from running amok,
Mhm.
to keep AI in compliance with all the relevant laws and regulations. Where there's no laws and regulations, keep AI in alignment with the angels, so the AI, however deployed, is respectful of diversity and so forth and so on. AI doesn't harm people. It's like the prime imperative in Star Trek. The original one is like, do no harm. Maybe I'm misstating that. But fundamentally, then it's like governance challenges. I'll use the
Mhm.
word governance here. Governance challenges that go beyond just data governance or ML model governance. It goes beyond business governance. Governance and how we relate to each other as human beings on the planet. And with that global scope, I will end this podcast. And thank you very much, Andrew. That's what I have to say. And I encourage everybody we can fit into the rooms to come to San Diego to TDWI Transform in the first week of August, where we will be doing a 2-day course on AI literacy. And I presented just in a nutshell some of the upfront module. We're going to have other presenters on this course. We're going to go even deeper than I did on generative AI, and also in terms of deeper than me on all things related to responsible AI guardrails, and so forth. So we look forward to having you all there.
Yeah, that's right. It's AI literacy for business professionals, as Jim
Yes.
mentioned, in San Diego, August 7th and 8th. And again, I will put a link in the description for those that are interested in learning more information and potentially attending. Jim, as always, it's an enlightening conversation when I have you on this podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you again soon.
Okay, Andrew. Take care, everybody.
To subscribe to the Speaking of Data podcast, or to learn more about TDWI's research and training on all things data management and analytics, visit tdwi.org or click the link in the description below. Thanks for tuning in.